What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got some interesting news as MATCHROOM CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, who promotes undefeated or co-promotes undefeated WBC lightweight world champion superstar boxer Devin "The Dream" Haney, 27 wins, no losses, no draw, 15 wins by way of knockout. He is 23 years of age, 5'8", with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, Eddie Hearn, he responds back to rising undefeated lightweight Mexican superstar title contender King Ryan Garcia and undefeated newly crowned unified lightweight world champion Australian star boxer George Kambosos Jr. Now, George Kambosos Jr. and Ryan Garcia, they believe that Dazn, in which Eddie Hearn, obviously, he has a partnership with, he does business with, and that's the platform in which Eddie Hearn and his fighters, MATCHROOM fighters, they fight on Dazn. You have Devin Haney. He fights on Dazn as well, okay? Now, Devin Haney, he fights on Dazn as fight-by-fight basis because he has his own promotional company and DHP Promotions, Devin Haney Promotions, with father, trainer, and manager Bill Haney, okay? And so Ryan Garcia and George Kambosos Jr. allude to them fighting each other in the very near future after two interim fights. An interim fight for Ryan Garcia, which is coming up April 9th against Tagul, and for George Kambosos Jr., an unnamed opponent in the future, looking like April or May, okay? And then they'll fight each other. And so the reason being, we obviously know it should be, automatic that Devin Haney fights against George Kambosos Jr. for undisputed, okay? George Kambosos Jr., he holds the WBA, the WBO, the IBF, and the Ring Magazine title. Devin Haney, he holds the WBC title. So history will be made, okay? There's only 6 fighters in the history of the sport of boxing to hold all 4 major sanction belts simultaneously at the same time and the linealship. Okay, you have Bernard Hopkins at number 1. You have Jermaine Taylor, who beat Bernard Hopkins, at number 2. You have Terrence Crawford at number 3 at junior welterweight. At 4, you have Olympic gold medalist Alexander Usyk at cruiserweight. At 5, you have Josh Taylor, undisputed junior welterweight, the second to do it behind Terrence Crawford. At 6, you have newly crowned undisputed super middleweight Mexican superstar, undisputed world champion Saul Canelo Alvarez, who recently did it in November. With that said, November 27th, George Kambosos Jr., he shocked the world by beating Teofimo Lopez, who beat former 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 3-division world champion, former unified lightweight world champion, or Ukrainian superstar boxer Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko. So Teofimo Lopez beat Lomachenko, and then George Kambosos Jr. beat Teofimo Lopez. With that said, they hold the franchise title, okay? Neither guy holds the WBC official title. If you go to the World Boxing Council official website, it says that Devin Haney is the official lightweight WBC champion. So with that said, now you have history that could be made between Devin Haney and George Kambosos Jr., which Devin Haney and George Kambosos Jr. verbally agreed to face off against one another. George Kambosos Jr., he stated that he wasn't going to do what Teofimo Lopez was doing, which was maneuvering around fighting Devin Haney for undisputed, and that he was going to take the fight, and Teofimo Lopez was being a diva, essentially, and he wasn't going to mimic what Teofimo Lopez did. So with that said, George Kambosos Jr., he agreed. He stated that he knew he had to go through Devin Haney to be officially undisputed. That's what George Kambosos Jr. stated, okay? Since then, George Kambosos Jr. has started now to backtrack. George Kambosos Jr. is starting to believe his own hype. George Kambosos Jr. is listening to WBC President Mauricio Suleiman claiming he's undisputed, when history only recognizes 6 undisputed champions, and he's not one of them. Neither was Teofimo Lopez. If that's the case, Canelo Alvarez will be the 7th undisputed champion in the history of the sport of boxing, not the 6th, okay? Because Teofimo Lopez beat Vasil Lomachenko before Canelo Alvarez beat Caleb Plant for undisputed November 5th. So with that said, they stated that the reasoning that George Kambosos Jr. is not fighting Devin Haney is because Dazn, which the network and platform and Devin Haney fights on, is not eager or willing to put up the necessary money that George Kambosos is now looking to garner to fight Devin Haney. Initially, George Kambosos Jr., we know he stated that it wasn't about money, it was about legacy and the best entertaining fights for the fans, okay? Now George Kambosos Jr., he has since changed his tune, and now George Kambosos Jr. is stating that he wants to get paid, okay? So with that said, you know, now he's looking for big money, but at the same time, he wants to have the fight on his terms, where he says and when he says, okay? He wants it to take place in Australia, okay? And he wants it, you know, to be in a 70,000 seat arena. So he stated that Dazn is not willing to put up the money. Now we have Ryan Garcia yesterday, who's making his comeback after over a year layoff. Ryan Garcia stated that Dazn, in which he fights on Dazn as well, with Golden Boy Promotions CEO and promoter and founder Oscar De La Hoya promotes Ryan Garcia, and they too have a partnership with Dazn. So according to Ryan Garcia, Dazn is in contact with Ryan Garcia and Oscar De La Hoya to stage a fight between Ryan Garcia and George Kambosos Jr., as well as promoter Lou DiBella, who promotes George Kambosos Jr. You know, Lou DiBella is stating that, you know, he wants the fight to happen with Ryan Garcia and George Kambosos Jr. as well, according to the recent reports. According to recent reports, Ryan Garcia is an interest of Lou DiBella and George Kambosos Jr., okay? So with that said, you know, things have changed because Ryan Garcia stated that yesterday, and George Kambosos Jr. stated this 2 days ago, that, you know, the guys, this is what George Kambosos Jr. stated, that this guy's own platform doesn't believe in him and don't want to put up the big money for him to have to be able to make the fights happen, okay? So George Kambosos Jr. and his promoter, Lou DiBella, initially stated that Devin Haney was pricing himself out and that they couldn't come up with a number to satisfy Devin Haney. That's what Lou DiBella and George Kambosos Jr.'s team was saying, that they couldn't come up with a necessary number to satisfy Devin Haney. And so they alluded to Devin Haney pricing himself out. Well, that's not true, because we know now that Eddie Hearn, he stated that they have not made them an offer. So Eddie Hearn responds to this notion that Dazn is not willing to put up the money for Devin Haney to fight George Kambosos Jr. So Eddie Hearn, he responds, and Eddie Hearn says it's completely not true. And Eddie Hearn goes on to let the world know that he states that I'm the one that's in most contact with Dazn. Nobody else is in contact with Dazn more than I am. If anybody knows that Dazn has no interest in putting up the necessary money for George Kambosos Jr. to fight Devin Haney on Dazn, it would be me. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. He stated that Dazn has come up with an offer and come up with the money, and now they have officially made an offer to George Kambosos Jr. and his team and Lou DiBella. And Eddie Hearn, he stated that it's incorrect that Lou DiBella is saying that an offer was made on their part. He said, I spoke to Lou DiBella on the phone verbally, and no offer was made to us at all whatsoever. The only offer is made now. We officially, us in Dazn, have officially made an offer to George Kambosos Jr. and George Kambosos Jr.'s team to have a fight in Australia. Devin Haney is willing to go to Australia. He stated that, Eddie Hearn, he stated that the problem is that George Kambosos Jr., he wants them to do all the footwork. He wants them to come up with all the money, but he wants it to be where he wants it to take place. So he stated that he wants George Kambosos Jr. and Lou DiBella want them to put up massive amount of money to have the fight take place in the 70,000 seat arena on their terms. So he stated that that's just simply not realistic. But Devin Haney is more than willing to go to Australia. And he stated that Devin Haney is more than willing to fight George Kambosos Jr. And he stated that obviously Eddie Hearn, he has to, essentially play the field. So he stated that George Kambosos Jr. wants to fight. He believes that he wants to fight. He just wants it on his terms. So Eddie Hearn, he completely debunks the notion that DAZN is not willing to put up the necessary money for Devin Haney to fight George Kambosos Jr. He said, in fact, we just got a number and we just made them a massive offer and we haven't heard back from them. He stated that if anybody's in contact with DAZN and knows what DAZN wants, it would be me more than anybody else. So don't listen to what everybody else is saying about DAZN not being willing to put up the money. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.